What was that? That was embarrassing. That was downright humiliating. On national television, under the bright lights of Thursday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles walked out onto the field and delivered one of the worst performances in recent memory. And let's be honest here, we're not just talking about a bad loss. We're talking about a performance that raises real, deep concerns about the direction this team is heading. They got beat, bullied, and flat-out embarrassed by a New York Giants team that, by all accounts, should not be able to hang with Philly, let alone dominate them from start to finish. The final score was 34-17, but it felt so much worse. It was one of those nights where you're watching and just waiting for something, anything, to click. But it never did. And what makes it sting even more is that this wasn't some banged-up Eagles squad playing with backups and trying to hold the line. No, this was a fully loaded offense with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and that supposedly elite offensive line all on the field. And they managed just 17 points for the second week in a row. You want to talk about red flags? Let's talk about how this Eagles team got flat-out outmuscled by a rebuilding Giants roster. You could feel it from the opening snap. New York wanted it more. They played with hunger, with urgency, and with pride. The Eagles? They looked like a team going through the motions, like they'd rather be on the bus heading back down I-95 to Philly than playing a divisional rival. That edge, that fire, that physicality we've come to expect from a Nick Sirianni team, it was nowhere to be found. Sure, on defense, they were missing Jalen Carter, who was out with a heel injury. And yes, Quinn Mitchell went down early with a hamstring issue. But the reality is this. The Eagles were supposed to be built for this. Depth has been a calling card. Resilience has been part of their DNA. But on Thursday night, none of that showed up. What we saw instead was a lifeless, uninspired team that got dragged all over the field by a Giants squad that had everything to lose. A Giants team whose coach and general manager are both fighting for their jobs. A Giants team that last week got humiliated by the winless New Orleans Saints after blowing a 2-touchdown lead and turning the ball over 5 times. That same team just dominated the Eagles. And when I say dominated, I mean in every phase. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. The Giants were simply better. They looked faster. They looked tougher. They looked more prepared. It was a complete role reversal. You wouldn't have been crazy to think the Eagles were the team sitting at the bottom of the division, trying to hold on to something while everything falls apart. Instead, they came into this game 4-1 with Super Bowl aspirations and left with more questions than answers. And here's the part that really worries me. We're 6 weeks into the season, and this team still has no offensive identity. None. You would think that with all the weapons they have, they'd be able to find something, a rhythm, a go-to approach, anything, but instead it's a mess. The offense looks disjointed, the play calling feels flat, and there's no creativity, no tempo, no sense of urgency. For a team with this much talent, scoring 17 points in back-to-back games is inexcusable. Nick Sirianni is not a scheme guy. He's not some offensive mastermind. His strength is supposed to be leadership, culture, details, having his team buttoned up and playing smart, disciplined football. But that's not what we're seeing. The Eagles are making the same mistakes over and over. The penalties are piling up. The miscommunications are glaring. The execution is poor. And the biggest concern is that it's not getting better. It's getting worse. You want to know how bad this has gotten? Let's look at the second half offensive production from this team over the past 3 games. Fumble, interception, 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, 3 and out again, another punt, touchdown, then another string of 3 and outs, followed by one more touchdown and another punt. That is not just inconsistency. That is a pattern of complete offensive failure. And it speaks directly to the coaching, the adjustments, or lack thereof, and the inability to adapt as the game goes on. Kevin Bullough, the offensive coordinator, has been given time. He's been given weapons. He's been given protection. And yet, this offense has gone into witness protection. Completely missing. Uninspired. Predictable. You can see defenders reading the plays before they happen. You can feel the lack of creativity. And that's a direct reflection of the coaching. When you're going 3 and out every other drive, when your quarterback is holding the ball with no one open downfield, when your offensive line can't hold up, And when your best skill players aren't being put in position to make plays, that's on the play caller. So what's the fix? Is there even a fix? Are the Eagles supposed to make another in-season coaching change? Promote someone else? Move a guy off the street? Because let's be real, you're not finding an elite offensive mind just hanging around in October. The good coaches are already working. The good coordinators are already locked into teams. What are you going to do? Call John Gruden and ask him to save your season. That's not a real solution. That's panic. And if you're already in panic mode 6 weeks into the season, then you're in real trouble. This team was supposed to be built to compete for a Super Bowl this year. The roster was built with that in mind. At least, that's what we thought. But now you have to wonder, did Howie Roseman fail this group? Did he miscalculate? Because some of the offseason decisions are not aging well. The Eagles had a chance to bring back Isaiah Rodgers at cornerback. He's now starting in Minnesota and playing well. They could have brought back Mike Becton on a team-friendly deal. Instead, he's in Los Angeles with the Chargers. The Eagles are struggling to protect the quarterback, and Becton could have helped. They let Joshua walk and didn't address the edge rusher position. Now their most productive edge rusher is a 30-something Darius Smith with a sack and a half. And even he's just okay as a rotational piece. And let's not forget the trade that sent C.J. Gardner-Johnson away. You look at the passion, the fire, the swagger that CJGJ brought to that locker room and to that defense. And you can't tell me that's not missing. You watch Thursday night's game, and what do you see? No juice, no energy, no spark. That's what CJ gave them. Heart, fight, identity, and it's just gone. Look, I get it. You're going to have off nights in the NFL. That's part of the grind. But this wasn't just an off night. This was an unraveling. This was a Super Bowl contender getting exposed on live TV against a division rival that everyone thought they would steamroll. And when you look at the upcoming schedule, with a trip to Minnesota looming and Brian Flores waiting to throw every blitz in the playbook at this stagnant offense, you realize things could spiral very quickly. 4-2 could turn into 4-3 real fast. And if you don't have answers, if you don't have direction, if you don't have leadership, it only gets worse from here. And maybe that's the most frustrating part of all. This was supposed to be the get-right game, the bounce-back opportunity, the chance to quiet the doubters and get back on track. Instead, it was more of the same. Another flat, uninspired, broken performance from a team that's supposed to be among the league's elite. Instead of rising to the moment, they folded. Instead of fighting back, they laid down. And now, the questions are louder than ever. What is wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles? What is going on inside that locker room? And how do they fix it before the season slips away? The unraveling goes deeper than just the scoreline or a lack of execution. What we witnessed was a total breakdown across every level of this football team. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And when you start to peel back the layers, it becomes clear that this Eagles squad might be dealing with more than just an identity crisis. They look exhausted. They look burned out. There's a lethargy to the way they're playing that you don't expect from a team that's supposed to be chasing greatness. They're not just making mistakes, they're compounding them. And worst of all, they're not responding. There's something off with this team. You can feel it in their body language. You can see it in the lack of energy. This isn't the same team that marched to the Super Bowl last year, not even close. Back then, they played fast, aggressive, confident football. They believed in what they were doing. They had a spark. Right now, they look like they're dragging last season's weight into this one. And it's affecting everything. The preparation, the effort, the resilience. It's hard to find a single area where the Eagles are playing clean football. And that is an indictment of the entire operation, from the coaching staff all the way down to the last man on the roster. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts for a second. He's a leader. He's one of the toughest guys in the league, mentally and physically. But even he looked out of sync. Missed reads, off-target throws, forced decisions. And then there was the deep shot to Devonta Smith, wide open for what should have been a walk-in 89-yard touchdown. Hurts overthrows it. Momentum gone. A play like that is supposed to flip a game on its head. Instead, it flipped the other way. The Giants got the ball back, marched right down the field, and scored. That's a 14-point swing in a game that already felt like a slog. And from that point forward, the Eagles were chasing ghosts. It wasn't just Hurts, though. The offensive line, a group that's long been considered the backbone of this team, is underperforming. They're getting beat in pass protection. They're not opening running lanes, and they look disconnected. And the Eagles' inability to run the football consistently is putting even more pressure on a pass game that already looks out of rhythm. Saquon Barkley started the game with a couple of explosive runs, but it quickly dried up. 12 carries for 58 yards. Decent on paper, but it wasn't sustainable. Once the Eagles fell behind, they abandoned the run, and the Giants knew it. They pinned their ears back and went after Hurts. And when the offensive line did give him time, nobody was open. The separation just wasn't there. And that brings us to the receivers. The talent is there, without question. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. They're all capable of taking over a game. But the chemistry feels off. The timing isn't sharp. The spacing on routes is inconsistent. Sometimes it feels like they're not on the same page with their quarterback or their play caller. Dallas Goedert had a big game, his fourth straight with a touchdown. He finished with 9 catches for 110 yards. A.J. Brown had 80. Devonta Smith added 49. But it never felt like they were dictating the game. It felt like they were trying to keep up, to claw their way into something that just never materialized. On the defensive side, the issues might be even more glaring. The Giants, led by a rookie quarterback, converted 11 of 16 third downs. That's a staggering number. That's the kind of stat that reflects deeper problems: poor communication, poor tackling, bad scheming, and a general lack of execution. The Eagles' defense couldn't get off the field. They couldn't stop the run, they couldn't generate consistent pressure, and they couldn't cover in the secondary. Cam Skattebo, the rookie, made them look soft. Missed tackles, blown coverages, confusion across the board. And it's not just about scheme or personnel, it's about mindset. Where's the pride? Where's the accountability? For a team that used to hang its hat on toughness and grit, they look the exact opposite. And sure, injuries have played a part. No Jalen Carter, no Quinn Mitchell for most of the game. But again, this team was built for depth. That was the whole point of Howie Roseman's roster construction. So when the next man up isn't even remotely close to being ready, you have to ask, is the talent overrated, or are they just not being coached up? Special teams? A disaster. Turnovers? Brutal. You lose the turnover battle 2-0, and it's not even fluky stuff. It's just sloppy football. A.J. Dillon fumbles a kick, then fumbles again on a screen pass. Hurts throws a pick that was nearly a pick six. On the final drive, he gets picked in the red zone again. These are back-breaking mistakes. These are plays that good teams find a way to avoid, especially in critical moments. But the Eagles aren't playing like a good team right now. They're playing like a confused, undisciplined, frustrated team that doesn't know who they are or how to fix it. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL has officially confirmed what fans had feared. The highly anticipated matchup between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles has been canceled. Sources close to the league have hinted that the decision, while shocking to many, comes after a series of behind-the-scenes complications that reportedly left officials with no other choice. The announcement has already sent shockwaves through both fan bases, igniting a storm of speculation about what might have led to such a rare cancellation. While the league cited logistical and operational concerns as the official reason, insiders suggest that tensions behind the scenes have been simmering for weeks. Rumors are swirling that disagreements between team managements, coupled with internal scheduling conflicts, played a larger role than the NFL is publicly admitting. Some even speculate that players' safety issues may have been a hidden factor, though nothing has been confirmed. Fans on social media wasted no time expressing their outrage and disappointment. Many pointed out the financial implications for both franchises, from ticket refunds to merchandise sales, and the potential ripple effects on playoff seeding as the season progresses. Meanwhile, betting markets have reacted with confusion, as the Giants versus Eagles clash was a marquee game that many had circled on their calendars. The cancellation leaves more questions than answers, with analysts already debating how the teams will adjust their strategies in response to this unexpected break. Sources close to the teams indicate that both squads are frustrated, but there's a sense of resignation that the league's decision is final. Coaches and players are said to be scrambling to revise training schedules and game preparations, with some insiders suggesting that the disruption could have unforeseen consequences for morale. Fans remain eager for any hint of rescheduling, though the league has remained tight-lipped on whether the game will be played at a later date. For now, the Giants and Eagles will have to navigate this unprecedented interruption, while the NFL faces the challenge of managing the fallout from a canceled game that no one expected. As the rumor mill continues to churn, one thing is certain. The rivalry between these two storied franchises will only grow more intense once the dust settles, and fans will be watching closely for the next twist in this unfolding saga. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.